This is the revolution has changed the way we work and communicate almost beyond recognition. We are living in a small interconnected world. Till in the mid 1980s, the ISO International Standards Organization develops networking model to provide standards to become the basis for network designs. This is the OSI model. 7 layers built up the open systems interconnection OSI model. Let's take the flow of the train systems. Sending a file or taking the link in your computer is a nice flow of information. The first layer to receive the command is the application layer. The application layer serves as a window for users and application processes to access the network services. This layer contains several functions like file, mail, and directory services. Data packets are ready to take a long journey. After the data is ready, the next layer, that is the presentation layer, formats the data to be presented to the application layer. It can be viewed as a translator. This layer translates the data from a format used by the application layer into a common format at the sending station. Then translate the common format to a format known to the application layer at the receiving station. The presentation layer also encrypts to control the information into the data. In this case, the train to write by the next layer. This layer allows session establishment, maintenance, and termination, which allow two application processes on different machines to establish, use, and terminate connection called a session. This session support, which performs the functions, will allow the process to communicate over the network by performing security. After another journey, the data pass to the layer security and validity, that is the transport layer. This layer scans and makes sure the data is reliable and valid and that the message is error free and then broken down or acknowledged in the segment. The security firewall is usually an action at this layer. Data do not pass will be rejected or destroyed, and because the session layer before remembers that the data gets shared, data retransmitted and there is no connection acknowledged. This is the safe event of the data whenever data packets are lost. Turn to another layer is the network layer. Here the segments are encapsulated into packets. Packets filtering and firewalls sometimes take place in this layer. The loaded firewalls in the layer is more secure enough. The possible of the network layer is add source and destination into the network protocol or IP address to the segments. The next layer is the data link layer. The packets are turned into frames for the specific networks. The data link layer provides error-free transfer of data frames from one node to the another over the physical layer, allowing layers above it to assume totally error-free transmission over the link. Switching networking takes place in this layer where packets have control information journey through media access control or MAC address. Finally, the physical layer transforms the frames into bits to send over the network via physical hardware and media. In this case, data are logically arranged and encoded before they get transformed to physical media to another computer is then received by the other computer's physical layer. Some data or information in the upper layers are destined to be sent through the internet. A vast interconnection of information in data. The data sent then received by the 7 layers of another computers from the physical layer, which is in calls to bits, back to the data link layer when the bits become frames, transforms error free to the network layer where frames back into packets in the sense upper layers and to the transport layer for validation and forwards take place. Send up to the session layer for connections call sessions have been changed or terminated back to the presentation layer by the data turned back into the format which can be read by the presentation layer. Finally, send and presented to the user by the application layer where you have been command.